A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a historic ruling, France's highest court, the Cour de Cassation, is set to decide whether to strip Bashar al-Assad, the former leader of Syria, of his head of state immunity. This decision comes in light of overwhelming evidence of war crimes and atrocities committed during his regime, particularly in relation to chemical attacks in Ghouta in 2013 and Douma in 2018. The court's ruling could pave the way for Assad's trial in absentia, a move that would not only hold him accountable for his actions, but also set a significant legal precedent for prosecuting other leaders implicated in similar crimes. Human rights activists and legal experts have long argued that the brutality of the evidence gathered by Syrian activists and European prosecutors warrants a re-evaluation of the protections traditionally afforded to heads of state. Mazen Darwish, president of the Syrian Center for Media, emphasized that a ruling against Assad would represent a monumental victory for victims of his regime. It's not only about Syrians. This will open the door for victims from any country, he stated, highlighting the potential for this case to influence future legal proceedings against leaders who commit atrocities. For over 5 decades, Syria has been under the oppressive rule of the Assad family, with Bashar al-Assad succeeding his father, Hafez al-Assad. The civil war that erupted in 2011 during the Arab Spring has resulted in the deaths of more than 500,000 people, with millions more displaced. As the court deliberates, the legacy of the Assad dynasty continues to haunt the Syrian population, with sectarian tensions and violence persisting in the region. Legal experts like Mariana Pena from the Open Society Justice Initiative argue that lifting Assad's immunity could establish a significant precedent for future cases, potentially allowing for the prosecution of current and former leaders who have evaded justice under the guise of international law. This ruling could empower domestic courts to issue arrest warrants for leaders accused of war crimes, a shift that could reshape the landscape of international justice. The evidence against Assad includes extensive documentation of chemical weapon use, torture, and other war crimes, meticulously gathered by activists risking their lives to expose the regime's brutality. Darwish recounted the efforts of teams collecting eyewitness testimonies and forensic evidence following attacks, directly linking these actions to Assad himself. Historically, heads of state have enjoyed immunity from prosecution for actions taken during their tenure, a legal principle aimed at facilitating international diplomacy. However, this protection has been increasingly challenged in light of severe human rights violations committed by leaders like Augusto Pinochet and Slobodan Milosevic. The evolving legal landscape suggests that the international community may no longer tolerate impunity for such egregious acts. As the ruling approaches, the implications extend beyond Syria. The decision could influence ongoing discussions about accountability for leaders like Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, who face accusations of war crimes in their respective conflicts. The potential for a trial in absentia for Assad could serve as a catalyst for broader legal action against leaders who believe they are shielded from prosecution. Despite the challenges ahead, including the unlikelihood of extradition from Russia, activists remain hopeful that a ruling from the French court could lay the groundwork for future accountability. Darwish's organization is actively pursuing multiple cases against Assad and other regime figures, underscoring the commitment to seeking justice for victims of the Syrian conflict. In conclusion, the upcoming ruling by France's highest court represents a critical juncture in the pursuit of justice for war crimes committed in Syria. It holds the potential to reshape international legal norms regarding head of state immunity and bring a measure of accountability to those who have perpetrated unspeakable atrocities. As the world watches closely, the outcome of this case could reverberate far beyond the borders of Syria, signaling a new era in the fight for human rights and justice. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.